Ciao ragazzi, bentornati sul mio canale. Oggi faremo un video un po' diverso dal solito perché andremo a Cantù per un allenamento, diciamo, speciale. Oggi per l'occasione abbiamo anche un videomaker speciale. Mamma mia che spettacolo. Dottore, come va?
Tutto a posto, tu?
Tutto a posto, dai. Stiamo andando a Cantù perché oggi faremo un allenamento un po' speciale, ovvero ci alleneremo con Alex Acker, ex giocatore NBA, ex giocatore Eurolega, che ho avuto la possibilità di incontrare nel 2021 quando sono andato ad allenarmi a Gallarate e lui l'ultima stagione l'ha fatta proprio lì in Serie C a Gallarate. Clamorosa come cosa, tra parentesi. Quindi sì, adesso si va lì, facciamo una piccola intervistina, un piccolo allenamentino e ci si gode la giornata, direi, no?
One eternity later.
So Alex, thank you very much for this interview. So first of all, let's start from the beginning. Can you tell us where you were born? How was your childhood, and then how were your high school and college years like?
First off, I appreciate you, Massimo, for having me on this interview. It's awesome to be here. To tell a little bit about my story, Alex Acker. I grew up in California my whole life. I've been bouncing around, moving around a lot in California. So I grew up in Compton, California, Long Beach, the Inland Empire, the list goes on to things. My high school bringing, I went to 2 high schools. I transferred high schools because my dad didn't see fit of me actually playing at the first high school for 4 years because he wanted me to develop and get better as a basketball player as well as academically as well too. So I went to 2 high schools, one in San Bernardino, California, the other one was in Rialto, California. Yep. And there from college, I went to Pepperdine University in Malibu, California, which is unbelievable campus. If anybody was to see that, they would think it's heaven.
So June 28th, 2005, with the 60th pick of the NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Alex Acker. Yeah. What do you remember about that day?
Oh man, I remember it vividly. It was an amazing day for me personally. It was something that every kid dreams about, of working hard, me believing in myself, all the way up until the first time I touched the basketball at the age of 5, all the way to 24 years old. It's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears up until that point, and it all bottled into one moment at that particular time. To watching the first person get picked and sitting there and the anxiety all the way into the last player pick, it was like a Cinderella story. You know, it couldn't have been a better opportunity for me to actually showcase who I was. Where I'm from, they call it a sleeper, meaning people don't know about you and they want to get to know you. So I had the perfect opportunity to showcase my talent at the 60th pick, but it was amazing. It really was. I had my family there, my church family there, all into one hotel, and we all erupted together and screamed.
That's awesome. You played for the Pistons and for the Clippers in your NBA career. So you had the opportunity to play with, I would say, legends like Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Baron Davis. So who was the teammate you had the best connection with?
That's a great question. And I honestly get that question a lot, but at the same time, that year we were so connected and close together. We all were one team, honestly. I have never had that experience of being united where we go to eat together. We celebrate each other's birthday together. If we're going out, we're all going out together. We're connected, you know, in that sense. And we had some, to tie into what you said, we had some unbelievable players that didn't start as well too, as far as Carlo Arroyo, Lindsey Hunter was a great mentor of mine too, who was a veteran. Carlos Delfino, I don't think he's probably still playing now. But he's an unbelievable player as well too, and Dale Davis, and the list goes on. And each guy played an unbelievable part in my career as well as my journey to having a longevity into 16 years playing.
And by the way, we are talking about the Detroit Pistons, and they won the NBA title in 2004 against the Lakers. So they were a great team, an unbelievable team. And do you remember your NBA debut, and how was the impact with the NBA?
Yeah, I do remember. I remember my NBA debut. It was with against the Milwaukee Bucks, and I didn't start, but I played a lot of minutes because the veterans, they pretty much said they're not going to play, you know. And the coach was kind of mad, but at the same time he had to respect it because our team was veteran players. They weren't just like veteran players. They were really old, so they were pretty much getting ready for playoff mode, and that actually gave me some more anxiety again because they pretty much said we're not playing, and I knew I was going to play. I didn't know when I was going to play, but I knew I was going to play. And I came in the game the second quarter with 2 minutes left, and I hit a big three. And I remember the coach was like, drew up a play, and my man was way off me, and I was like, man, I'm taking this shot. And it went in. And from that moment on, I think I got a little bit more string of the coach let me play a little bit more, even that game alone. And I finished with, I think, 11 points that game. Unbelievable game. I had like 6 rebounds, a lot of turnovers, I'm not going to lie. But for the most part, it was just a great game to be around and be in at the moment.
We talked about your teammates, but what about your opponents? I mean, I think you had the opportunity to play against, I would call them like your idols. Yeah. So what about this?
That's a great question. I think, you know, I have some great mentors that I look up to who actually helped me along the way of watching their stories, from, you know, the late, great Kobe Bryant, watching him as 18 years old, all the way advanced to the league, and then I'm in front of him playing him one-on-one, not one-on-one, 5-on-5, and seeing him go up and down in warm-ups and visually see him, like tangible, you can touch him, which is amazing. And then, you know, at that time, when I played in 05, we had the Flash. The Flash is, anybody knows basketball, the Flash was Dwayne Wade, and he was a Flash, and I got a chance to play against him. And it's just a different level of basketball where I seen elite players that I grew up with from, I don't know, I can name them all. Allen Iverson, you know, Stephon Marbury, you know, and these guys were Steve Nash, and a list goes on of guys, and they were just coming in the door. We had 82 games, and every single game was impactful of who you're going to play against, who you're going to actually play in, play against every single day. And it was just amazing to actually go against these guys for sure.
So in 2006, 2007, 2008, you had your first experiences in Europe, where you played for Olympiacos and Barcelona. Then you went back to the NBA for a couple of years, and then you settled in Europe for playing like in Italy, France, Poland, Greece, Turkey. What's the reason behind that decision?
My first year playing in the NBA, I knew I wasn't going to be able to play, being the fact that I was on a NBA Space Jam Monstar team like the Detroit Pistons. It was more for me to be a sponge of absorbing all the information that I could for when it was time for me to play. And sitting down and watching basketball, amazing basketball, for that long, you get an itch of sensation of you want to play. So my first year, I wanted to play so bad. And then I knew going into the second year, it was going to be the same thing. So I was like, I have to make a change. So I evolved in going to Europe for 2 years on some of the best teams of Olympiacos in Greece. And I became that man like Chauncey Billups or Rip Hamilton. I was that guy where the team depended on me and wanted me to be arriving and scoring and, compete at that high level. And I got a sensation of a team that wanted me more than anything. And then I go to Barcelona, which is another elite team. And we arrived to the Final Four and lose to Maccabi in the Final Four. But it was that sensation again where like I can play at this level for sure. And I think more than anything, Europe is similar to the NBA. It has the same sense. There's a great teams that actually compete in the NBA. So once I got back to the NBA, I felt that I was ready. And I still didn't get that chance to actually showcase my talent the way I wanted to. Maybe I played a little bit more, but it wasn't satisfactional of the way I was playing in Europe. So after when I came back to the NBA, my second year, and I didn't see my jersey a lot, I was like, you know what? My lifestyle, where I grew up at, is in Europe. Where I want to play at is in Europe. I made it to the NBA, which is great. I made it again to the NBA, which is phenomenal. That some people don't have that story to even say. But at the same time, I wanted to play. I wanted to compete. And I wanted a team that actually where I can put on my shoulders and I can carry to a championship as well too.
As we said, in Europe you played in so many different countries. Which league was the most competitive and challenging for you?
The most challenging competitive league, I would say, would be, honestly, it would be Spain. I think Spain was the most challenging competitive team to be on. And it wasn't just playing against teams. It was like we had an amazing team ourselves. So we were competing at a high level, even in practice. And it was really challenging because it was up-paced tempo type of movement game. And these guys were really pros at a high level, the Spanish team, and they were coming for our necks, being the fact that we were Barcelona and we didn't have no days off at all, So that was amazing. And, even into the finals where we played against Tal Ceramica, they had an unbelievable team too. It was Paul Gasol's brother, Mark Gasol, and Thiago Splinter as well too at that time. Mike Batista as well. So there are some juggernauts inside that league that was really amazing.
And talking about teammates and opponents in Europe, who was the one who impressed you the most and why?
In Europe, the most guy that impressed me the most was probably Torian Green. He was a winner pretty much at birth. He grew up around basketball. His father was an NBA player. He actually, I don't know if he got drafted or not, but he played a little bit in the NBA. He went to college at at Florida University, won 2 national championships back-to-back, which is phenomenal, extremely hard to do. And he was a veteran, already. And he came into the floor and he demanded respect at a small guard position. And he was a floor general, which I really appreciated. that gave me a sensation of relief where I don't have to be a point guard because I know he's a great point guard and I can worry about doing the things that I needed to do. And that year in 2014, we won a championship in Limoges together. And that was really one of the most amazing things and hardest things that I actually had to do, was try to figure out how to win a championship. And I needed that key piece like Torian Green by my side, as well as the other players as well too that contributed, did an amazing job. But he was a key piece for us winning for sure.
In Europe, the fans are, I would say, so hot. You can get so much support from them. So which fan base was the most passionate?
You're going to kill me about this one. I played on so many teams. I still got great memories of every club that I played for. First, let me start there. So there's no bad feelings at all. But the most important club that I actually went to that was unbelievable head to toe had to be Olympiacos. That fan support was unbelievable. They traveled everywhere as far as they could. And it was amazing, This lights out, From the moment I arrived to the Friendship Stadium, they carried me like I was a rock star, all the way up into every single game. They supported us, and it was just amazing to be around. And that energy is contagious. Playing in front of that environment, seeing all red in the arena and stands, and it was just amazing. It really was. I loved it.
Everyone passes through ups and downs during their career. So, which were yours, and how did you deal with them?
Yeah, I think my first year here in Europe, I had a great group of guys that I played with. And I remember my last game against Panathinaikos. I spin around my big man. He sets a screen. I go up and dunk the ball, and I come down, and I hear a pop in my knee. This is the first time I ever got injured, really injured. I had a couple ankle injuries and stuff like that, but this was the first time I felt something that was going to stop me and limit me from playing basketball. And when I actually came down, I heard the pop, and I arrived from the baseline underneath the basket to the middle of the court. My knee swelled up like a balloon, and I felt, I was just, a lot of things were going through my head, at that time, not understanding what was going on, but it was just like, man, I think I'm really hurt, or man, I think this might be it, and that's a scary moment for any athlete for sure. And I had to go through surgery my first year out in Europe. And it was a small surgery, but it actually messed with my mind mentally of recovering, because I never been through that, So it took me a long time, even though they said it was going to be about 4 weeks me out. It took about 2 months for me to actually recover and get back to myself, game shape ready. So that was the first injury. And for me to get back into it, it just took a lot of families to actually cheer me on, and fans as well to get me motivated to get out the house and keep going and pushing to get back to my normal self.
Considering the huge number of games that a player has to play in a season, how important is the off-court life and the discipline? And I'm talking about something like diet and lifestyle to have a long career.
That's it right there. I would say the most important thing, what I didn't do, if you can learn from me, was I didn't stretch a lot. I think that's a huge thing where athletes need to understand that stretching is one of the most important things. Off the court, when you're actually at home, stretch, you know what I mean? Stretch your back, stretch your hips, most importantly. Before you come into the gym, stretch. It's a proper way of stretching. When you're done working out or playing, stretching as well too, to actually relieve a lot of stress and tension off the joints, which is huge. Along with eating, which is a great attribute to have, when to eat is most important as well too, and what you put intake into your body is huge as well too. So I know my body as well as anybody, as more than anybody. I know it makes me go, gives me energy. I know it doesn't give me energy. So don't lie to yourself and be real about yourself. You know, if alcohol is something that you need to stay away from, you got to do it. You know, if you know sugar is one of those things that actually slows you down, you got to stay away from it. And salt as well too. You know, so I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing your body, your DNA, and going from there.
And did you have a pre-game routine? I don't know if it changed from the NBA to Europe, but did you have a pre-game routine?
It changed a lot. I think we had unlimited help in the NBA. A lot of staff that would actually do everything and anything for you, and that was their job to actually do that. So in the NBA, it was catered to athletes to actually make sure they were well equipped to actually having great games. Food on time, meal prep, you know, dieting, juice, somebody to stretch you. You got a hot tub, cold tub, the list goes on of those things for sure. When it came to coming to Europe, it was one of those things where I had to take serious myself and building a routine that I knew that was going to help. And it did change. It changed during season. You know, it wasn't something that I can actually take the same way this year and apply it to that year. It was something that I had to actually figure out along the way for sure. Yep.
So everything comes to an end, including the player career.
Yeah.
So in which moment of the season did you decide that season was your last one?
Yeah.
So was it a tough decision? And how did you handle it, especially in the first part, in the first period after retiring?
I think in the sports world, they always say athletes die twice, you know, where you have to put down the basketball or the cleats or, you know, the helmet or whatever case it may be. And it's sad, you know, because it's a sport that I grew up playing since a childhood and competing. And I knew that it was something that was going to be hard for me to walk away from. But it was time for me to actually walk away from it and venture off into doing other things. And I had my family to help me and support me along that way. A great support family from my wife, my kids as well too, which was really, really amazing. But I wanted to play one more so they can actually see me play. That was the most important thing. I don't know if they remember, they were really young, but I remember it, which is great. And but for the most part, it was really one of those things where I was happy and content on walking away from the game. It wasn't something that I looked past of, damn, I should have played one more year, or I always felt that I can play one more year, which is completely fine. But I wanted to walk away from the game intact, where I didn't have no injuries. And the way my body was actually winding down, it was something that was a time-ticking bomb that I couldn't control. And I felt it, that if I played again, I was going to break something. You know, so God sent, it was something that he told me, like, chill out. No more, man, or else something's really going to happen. I can't protect you long enough. And but for the most part, I had a lot of things business-wise that actually led me to jumping into as well too, that actually helped me.
So you started to answer to the next question, but how did you reinvent yourself after stepping away from playing basketball?
One of the things I did to invent myself after stopping playing was I did that while I was playing, and it helped me. I didn't stop cold turkey playing basketball, then try to do something else. So while I was playing basketball, I was picking and choosing of what I wanted to jump into, why something that was going to take away from what I love so much, give me joy into something else that I was going to do. So I was tapping into a lot of things, and it led me to some great opportunities. But for the most part, it was a easy transition as far as a pivot.
One last question. Today, if you can talk to a young boy or a young girl who dreams of becoming professional in basketball or in sports, or I would say in every field, what would be the most important message you would share with them?
I think the most important message that I would share is, for me, was the why and reason of why you do what you do. I think that's the most important thing, that it actually help you get through times where it's rainy days, get through times where you don't want to do it, where if you're playing a sport, your body's hurting from the last practice or workout or drill or game, and you got to fight through it. My why and reasoning, it changed. At first it was for me to be the breadwinner for my family and provide for my mom and dad, who actually helped me successfully fulfill my dream of playing basketball, and to give them everything that they gave me. My joy of playing basketball was all I wanted, and I wanted to feel their joy because they took away their time, their energy and effort to have me be in a position where I can be successful, So I never took that lightly, more than anything. And that was my push, so that woke me up every single day. That was my why, reasoning of playing the sport that I love. And it helped me to get through those dark times, because there will always be dark times into anything you do, whether it's sports, whether it's a professional career in your job. But to get to that joy again, you need that strong push of why you're doing this, and always remember that. So again, my why was my family, and it helped me every single day. It helped me go to class and get good grades. It helped me be a student of the game. It helped me get through some coaches that I didn't like. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in that situation. And it helped me get to, the drills that I couldn't at one point get to because I was so tired and fatigued and I couldn't see past it, but it dug deep for me finishing, So find out what your why is and you'll be successful in anything, for sure.
Man, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this wonderful morning. And again, I really appreciate it. Ragazzi, la giornata di oggi è stata una bomba. Sì, l'allenamento è stato bellissimo perché Alex mi ha spiegato quello che stavamo facendo e il motivo per cui lo stavamo facendo. Ed è sempre bello comunque capire il motivo per cui si fa un qualcosa. Però la cosa clamorosa, secondo me, è stata l'intervista. Quello che ho cercato di fare io è stato comunque fare o provare a fare domande interessanti e non banali che si sentono in ogni intervista. Però secondo me è stato bellissimo ascoltare Alex, ascoltare la sua storia e i ricordi che ha lui della sua carriera, attraversando momenti belli e momenti brutti come fanno tutti. Io ragazzi spero veramente che questo video vi sia piaciuto. Lasciate un like, un commento e iscrivetevi al canale per rimanere sempre aggiornati con i prossimi video. Io vi mando un abbraccio e ci vediamo presto. Ciao!